We were still in the middle of Tin Inn. It was a fairly level spot when I was put on guard duty that night again. We were protecting. I was on from 10 to 12 at night. And about 10 o'clock, I'm out there with this guy, and we dig a hole, and we lie, and our feet are crossed, and we're looking this way and this way. When I said, "Did you hear that?" And he says, "I think I did." And we listened again, and we heard something moving in the sugarcane. Some stupid Marine had gotten stuck somewhere, and he got lost or something. And so I yelled, "I want to hear a password." And as soon as I yelled, "I want to hear a password," I'm sure those 10 or 12 guys lying back there, going from lieutenant to corporal down to gunny, everyone woke up. Everyone had their weapon. So, the noise, one more time. And I said, "I haven't heard a password. You better give a password." And at that point, back in the group, I heard a very authoritative voice say, "Slim, let them have it." I said, "Jesus, it could be a..." And the word came back, "Let them have it." And I fired off 3 shots, and I heard a boom. And I heard a bird from back there, "Nice shot, Slim." And so it was over. So I came off watch at midnight, laid down, went to sleep, and at about 5 the next morning, I heard this one kid jump up, says, "Let's go around and find out what we got in this one. You know, it's a souvenir." And a very authoritative word from back later, I could hear it, "Don't you touch that guy. McMahon gets first crack at any souvenir." And I'd killed him. Well, when I got around to go into the sugarcane to see him, he was standing there laughing like hell. I said, "It's all yours, Harry. It's all yours." And I looked in, and there's a dead cow. I shot a cow. It was necessary, and I'm awfully glad. In fact, one of the guys, Gunny, walked up to me and said, "It was a good shot anyhow." We had good times and bad times then. And next day or two, we were in the center of the island, and we were going, and their mortars got lined up, and I don't know. They are very sharp. Don't ever underestimate their fighting ability. But they knew where the line was, and they figured out where we were, and we were right on the line, right back, because we're headquarters in service. We have everybody from CPs down to communications guys to telephone operators, and then the commanding officer. So we were there. Well, they started dropping mortars on the line. And I heard the first one way down there. I was too tired that night to dig a hole. I was the only one in the whole fucking area without digging a hole. And I was lying right across from a bare area, and we had a Jeep parked in the grass underneath some bushes. And at second and third mortar started down. They were right in the line. They were coming right down on us. And I said, "I'm going to get hit." So I screwed across the floor, or the ground, and crowded my head and shoulders underneath this Jeep. I don't know what I did, but I got underneath the Jeep as far as I could get. And here, I know there's a gas tank right above it and all that shit, but this time I was scared of something around my... Well, the mortars came by. They stopped. Next morning, I rolled over about 5:30, and I went to change. Every other day you change your socks, in the combat. And so I rolled over to take my socks off. I looked down at my leg, and it was solid red, and my sock was stuck to my leg. And I said, when I got over here, I probably cut myself in that damn Jeep. And I looked down, and I saw the sock was completely covered over everything. So I went over into Gunny, and I said, "Look, Gunny," he says, "you better go to sick bay." I said, "Fine." So I got in the Jeep and went back to sick bay. It's about 100 yards or so behind. And so I walked in, and the kid out there checking in, where you check in, he said, "Your name?" And I told him, and he said, "What happened?" I said, "I cut my right leg." And okay, and he marked it down. That really was what I said. So I went in, and Dr. Gus laid me down on the table on his cot, and I laid my stomach, and he was working on me. And I didn't want to look back, and it hurt, and I didn't want to look back at all. Finally, I did. And I looked back, and I said, "What are you?" And it was he had cut me open about yay long, and he had a big tube, and he says, "This is sulfa drugs, Harry or Slim, but because you're going to infection." So I put the sulfa in. He said he patched it all up, and he said, "Here are 2 more patches. Every other day, change the patch, and if there's something happens, get in touch. Come back and see me." Dr. Gus was from Minnesota, Gustafson. So I did. About 3 or 4 days later, I'm down by a railroad talking tin end. Dr. Gus yells across, "Slim, how's your wound healing?" And I said, "I didn't know." I said, he said, "I took a hell of a big piece of shrapnel out of you." And I said, "You did?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "It's healing well." I said, "I put both of them on." He says, "Stop up and get another one if you need it." And that was all there was said. When we got back from back to Saipan after Tinian, and back to when the Marine Corps decided to come out with, so they could relieve these guys that had been on the canal and Sarawa and Saipan. They deserved to go home. They were heroes. They came out with a reason why you can get home. A point for every time you were in the Marine Corps, 2 points for every day or month you were overseas, and 5 points for every combat you were in, and 5 points for every award. And mine added all up to 59. 64, you go home. I had 59. I said, "Wait a minute, my wound, 5 points, I go home." And I trotted my little butt up to sick bay and said, "Where's Dr. Gus? I want to know." I got the biggest laugh. McMahon, Dr. Gus has been home for 2 months now, and he's not here. And secondly, McMahon, every night we had to send our casualty list in the division. "McMahon, here's your your tough shit slip, TL slip. Go down and see the chaplain." I said, he says, "Your chances, you're not going to get that changed." So I didn't. Well, I went on during the rest of the war.